Hi everyone, this is Addie Van Salisbury. I'm the Aspen Discovery team at Bywater Solutions, and today I want to talk about translations and how to make a translated catalog for your discovery layer. So if we have a translation set up, a language enabled on a catalog, you will see those listed up top. We can easily switch into that translated site by clicking into the hyperlink, and you'll see that we'll begin to see our translations. Everything in this particular example is not yet translated, and we'll talk about how to continue to translate your catalog when you add languages. We can switch back and forth between the two by just clicking on the hyperlinks. So I'm going to show you where we need to get started to have a translated Aspen Discovery layer. So I'm going to go into my Aspen administration menu and scroll down to the languages and translations. When you decide you want a particular translated version of your catalog, you will need to add that language into the language settings. All we have to do is add a language. I'm going to edit our Spanish one to show you an example of that. You don't need to add anything to the weight in most cases. You will need to create a code for that language. So for this example, it's ES for Spanish. This is mostly just for when you are actually importing the translations themselves. You want to give a display name. So whatever you put here is what will display up top. And then the English display name and the facet value can be the same. If you're working on the translation and you don't want patrons to yet be able to click into that translation, so you don't want the language to appear up top yet, you would choose this display to translators only option. So this would only show as a possibility to any of your staff members with translator permissions. Once you've created the language, you'll want to go in your translations to begin the actual work. So you'll see when we get in here, we've got quite a few options. My favorite is start translation mode. So if I click into my Spanish because I'm ready to poke through my catalog and just translate things as I see them, I can click into my Spanish language up top and then click start translation mode. You'll see a bunch of boxes appear, and we've got green and red, and they're numbered. So the numbers are just numbers from the database that correlate with the actual term and then the translation itself. If you click into any of these boxes, a pop-up will appear. So it'll show you what the English term is, and then here in the translation box, you can go ahead and translate that into the language that you're in. Once you do the actual translation, you would choose Update Translation, and it would go ahead and push that out into the catalog. The boxes that are green mean that the translation's already happened, but you can click into it and edit it if you wanted to do that. The nice thing about this translation mode is as you're going through the catalog, this mode will stay with you and you can just translate as you go. I think this is a really great option. We have two other options. So if I go back into my administration menu and scroll down to translations, it's really easy to get out of this mode. All you would do is click exit translation mode. I switched back into English just because I don't speak that Spanish that well, so I need the English to navigate through Aspen. Then we have two other options. We can export all translations. This will give us a CSV file that's going to have a couple different columns. I'll go ahead and open that up. So this is good if you have a translator that really just likes to go for it and translate as much as possible really quickly. So in this first column, we're going to have the term that Aspen understands this word as. Then we're going to have an English translation and a Spanish translation. The reason we have these two columns is because this particular instance of Aspen Discovery only has an English and a Spanish version. As you start to add more languages, there will be more columns. If you want, you can just go through and translate in the Spanish column. And then when you saved your new file, you can import translations here. You can choose to overwrite your existing translations, and it's really important to choose which language you're interested in importing. Once you choose your file, all you do is import, and then those translations are in your Aspen Discovery. We have one other option for translations here. We can export for bulk translation. So this is really useful to begin a translated catalog. You're going to get a TXT file that looks, it's less user-friendly, I'd say, because we aren't going to manually edit this. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see some IDs. So these are straight from the database for these terms. And then this is the term. We would take this file and go to Google Translate. If you go into the actual Google Translate page, there's a document option, and then you can upload that file, and it will translate that file into whatever language you ask it to translate into. And then you have a translated total file. Once you have that completely translated file, you can import bulk translations, but it is important that you are in the language that you want to import for. So if I want to bulk import Spanish, I would need to click into the Spanish catalog and then import that file. Like I said, this is really useful if you want kind of a base layer for your translations. I don't think it's any secret that Google Translate isn't always entirely accurate, so I would use it just to get started and then have someone on staff go through and kind of edit things in that translation mode as they can. So one important thing to mention as well is that we can do English to English translations. So if there's terms or there's language within Aspen Discovery that you would want to change, you think your patrons are more used to hearing that in a different way, then we can translate from English to English, which is really nice. When you're in here, if you choose show all translations and update filters, this will show you every possible translation, even if they've already been translated. You can also refine based on what the term, which is the Aspen term, contains, or what the translation contains. So if you've translated something in the past and that language is deprecated within your workflows or whatever, you can find what you've translated in that way and alter them. And this works within all the languages as well. So you could go through and edit these in this way. If you edit them here, you would just save the translations down here. I mentioned that you do need translator permissions. If we go into our permissions right here, that is one of our options that we can edit or add to a role. So we have our languages and translations permissioning. We've administer languages, so it would allow them to create that language or translate Aspen. So they would need the staff member who will be doing translations would need at least this translate Aspen permission. So that's how we translate Aspen Discovery into whatever language would be useful for you and your patrons. If you would like your implementer to help you set up some initial languages, let them know and they'll be more than happy to assist you with that. Let us know if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.